Hi, I'm Cameron Bonzi. I'm the VP of Marketing with Coast of Maine Organic Products. And I'm here today with Richard Hodges, who's the founder and program manager of ReTreeUs. Richard, we've been doing a lot of stuff together. I've known you for quite a few years now. I know you founded the program in 2009 as a vision. And then in 2012, we're actually able to do it part-time. And now you've had really great success. Tell us a little bit about the program, what your intent was and what you're doing today.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me today. As you said, it started out as a vision, worked for years as an outdoor educator, organic farmer and gardener. And really, working with kids is one of the most hopeful things in my mind.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the future, and it's inspiring to see energy and hope that's in their eyes. So the idea of planting a fruit tree and watching it grow over time is kind of where it all started, and eventually reaping the fruits of your labor. So our slogan is we plant trees of thought and trees of fruit and seeds of thought.
I think that's beautiful. And honestly, for me, as I've said before, I've been with you doing some of these. I do think it's a totally immersive program. I've seen the kids get connected to it. It teaches them a lot about the world. It does get them to see the future and to be able to take care of themselves better. So it's a beautiful thing. The basis of the program is key to everything that you've been able to expand on too. Tell me a little bit about what you have for orchards going on right now and what you're going to be doing this spring.
This year we're doing 14 orchard projects. One very large project with Nabizin. It's an indigenous-led nonprofit
Cool.
in Passadumkeag, Maine, and so we're excited about that large project. And then we've also got all the rest are school projects. So we're going to be all over the place, and definitely looking forward to it.
Show us you have a map, right, of where you're going to be heading this spring and where
yes,
you've been?
I do.
Yeah, show that to us, because I think that's impressive when we can kind of see how much you have going on and how much you've done. It's kind of cool to see that laid out on a map.
So this is where we're going this year. So we've got school orchard programs. Most school orchard programs, we plant about 12 fruit trees, and some, like the one in Passadumkeag with Nabizin, we're doing 100. These are large potted trees. So we do a preparation visit in the spring where we're mulching the locations and improving soil. And that process is really essential. The sheet mulching in order to prepare the sites. And then we return in the fall to plant large potted trees that we grow in our nursery or source from really good garden centers. We do apples, pears, peaches, and plums. So all the green that you're seeing here are new orchards. We're inching closer to 100 orchards this year, which will be a great accomplishment. And so this is from the ReTreeUs website. I just want to show the interactive map. So there's reference from where we've been so far.
Yeah, so when I'm looking here, what comes to me is 70 orchards, and you had 20,000 students impacted. That extrapolates and continues to grow over time with you bringing on new orchards, but even without bringing on new orchards, that's going to grow and extrapolate in just what you've planted as a seed to begin with. So that's amazing stuff. And do you have any idea how many trees you've actually planted over that time?
So we planted over 1,000 of these, and we're just keeping going, and there's a lot of demand for it. so, schools that are interested, they go to ReTreeUs.org,
Yeah.
ReTree.us, same thing. And there's an online application. And so we're getting some applications. We're already receiving applications for 2023. We're trying to get as many trees in the ground, as many kids educated as possible, while we're also kind of expanding into the back to school garden, which we've added.
So let's talk about that, because what you've set up as a base is terrific. And then tell us about your idea with the back to school garden, the benefits of it, and how it's set up.
Absolutely. So the back to school garden came about through, honestly working with soil and trying to optimize growing conditions. While I was mulching these orchard spots, I would look over at School Gardens, and I'll show you kind of, actually where one of the garden beds that really gave the inspiration for a lot of what we did. What I'm talking about.
Right.
So, you see this a lot because, there's good intentions, establishing garden beds. And then, the reality comes around in the summer and, weeds grow, and that's fine. But, this method of mulching is very effective. So sometimes we'll inherit this and then we'll rough up those weeds a little bit. And then what we're doing is similar to laying down a cardboard box. We've got this fully recycled, all natural paper that we roll out. And we distribute rolls of these papers to schools now, along with your compost and some seeds. So this is what we do in the spring with the back to school garden. We rough up the weeds. You don't have to be perfect. And then you lay on this bed, I think we laid 4 layers of paper because of the severity of it. And then again, the benefit of working with Coast of Maine compost is that it's a finished product. It's seasoned. So I do with this in particular, what we're doing with the orchard preparation, where you're just putting compost on top of a cardboard box and letting it sit for the season. That doesn't have to be finished compost. So that could be even manure that you're using. But this process in the school garden bed, especially with what I'm about to show you with the seeds, it's really important to have finished compost. And that's why we really only use Coast of Maine for that reason, because it's seasoned and it's not continuing to break down, which would rot seeds. So you can actually plant seeds directly into this quaddy, which is awesome.
We get that question. We get that question all the time. And one of the things that for us, we're world-class composters. We follow very strict SOPs so that when our compost lands in your backyard, it's ready to plant in. So that's cool that you're able to teach kids that too.
Absolutely. So, in that process, the kids are having fun and sometimes too much fun putting name tags on foreheads and such.
I love that.
And so, again, finished compost, they're able to seed directly in it. With our method, we want it to be set it and forget it. So the paper is going to eliminate weeds, and it's going to actually build soil over the course of the season. And the seeds that we're sowing in the spring, if we get stuff from it, that's great. But our focus is actually in the fall, and I'll get to that. But we recommend and we provide popping corn and winter squash and pumpkins, as well as Mexican sunflowers, because all of those can pretty much grow in the setting without really any maintenance. This seed packet actually were seeds saved by Troy Howard tree up in Belfast.
I love that story. We've got some great images of what they've done. It's awesome.
So it's cool that these seeds were grown in a school garden and then distributed and grown, and keeping that legacy alive. And cool story with Dakota Black popping corn. It's been an heirloom variety grown for many, many, many years. So it's great to bring that to schools. And with popping corn, you need to pretty much plant a whole bed with that because they need for pollination. but then at least another bed with the Mexican sunflowers and squash or pumpkins. And so, yeah, then it's good to go, leave it. And then the idea is that you come back in the fall, you harvest the pumpkins and winter squash, and the popping corn will cure on the vine, on the stalk.
Yep.
The pumpkins will cure on the vine. And if you lose some stuff, it's not a big deal, because the focus really is the fall.
Yes.
So they'll come back in September, harvest popping corn, harvest squash. They'll have fed pollinators throughout the whole summer, and the garden looks beautiful because Mexican sunflowers are beautiful. And it's a great pollinator plant, really great if you want to attract hummingbirds as well. So they're doing all that over the summer. The beds aren't going to waste, and then they empty out their beds again. You might want to top dress with a little more compost, and then
Yep.
we deliver these seedlings that are well established from local organic farms, kale, lettuce, and spinach. And we bring, so these trays, and we have a whole trailer that we load up too. And now I've actually expanded, and I've got shelves in the fruit tree mobile turned veggie mobile. We load up and we distribute 4 to 6 of these trays. In each tray has 50 to 128 seedlings in it. So you can really fill, ideally, 4 pretty large raised beds. So the idea is we're getting a critical mass of nutrient-dense greens that can be easily incorporated into the cafeteria. Because the kitchen staff knows how to deal with salad, and it's more accessible. And kale is becoming more and more prominent in schools. And we also distribute row cover with these gardens, and that allows them to grow the spinach and kale right through December. And you're able to harvest the lettuce in October, a copious yield. And then
I think that's also the other piece with the fall harvest. I mean, it's overlooked in Maine a lot. A lot of people just think, grow in the spring and the summer, and the fall harvest is so valuable. And especially with the back to school program, it really does a concise program with the kids where they can come back to school and get into action and see it daily as they're there, instead of starting in the spring and having to go away from it and then come back. And I think it's a great idea, and it's a great process too. So I love your enthusiasm too. It takes a lot to put a program like this together, and it's taken you years to do this, so you're doing the right thing. Coast of Maine obviously will continue to support your efforts too. And I would encourage any school to reach out to you. We'll put your website up here. Now, for us at Coast of Maine, we're committed to organic practices. We've been doing this for 26 years. We didn't just come into this. I hope we were part of forcing a movement. And the buy local piece, it's amazing, our local retailers, what they do for the community and how much they've built the Coast of Maine brand for us. And then to be able to get into a nonprofit like yours, and some of the other things that we do with our Growing Good program, it all comes together. It is all about community. We need to work better as a community as much as we can across the world. And you're doing your piece, you're having an impact. So congrats to you. Hopefully we can get additional people interested in your program so that you can keep doing the good work that you're doing. And
it takes a lot of background work to make the really fun stuff happen, and it's just magic. You can see it behind you with those kids. It is magic getting kids outside, and
that's what I love. Yeah.
And that's the future, and it's giving hope. It's tangible hope when you have a fruit tree that's sequestering carbon, that's producing local fruit and healthy food, and providing food for pollinators, and also the no-till agriculture that we're advocating for in these raised beds that build organic matter in the soil, and that's actually also sequestering carbon. And so it's the world's full of a lot of despair, and that's a burden for the youth, and we want to give tangible hope and something really good that they can do. So I love that you've got the Growing Good program, because that's exactly what we're all doing, is we're trying to grow good, and grow a better future, and give opportunities and hope and health to the future.
So what I think we need to do, because your enthusiasm just spills over, I think that we need to break down things like just talking about sequestering carbon. Some of those things, maybe we could come back on and just drill it down to something like that, a very specific piece, and maybe we could do something just focused on that. That'd be awesome. So I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you being here. We'll get it out on our YouTube and in our social media. We'll share it with you, and hopefully we can just keep delivering a positive message.
Sounds great. Well, really appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.